Let me first take back to you in a very older era when we do not have anything like cloud, where we do not have anything like virtualization, then how people generally do kind of a development and a management. Okay, so I'm taking you a little aback. Let's see that this is an era of 1990. Okay, so we are in a 1990. So in a 1990, what does generally happen? All of you, I hope that many of you might have seen that people generally build a small data center or maybe a data center. So what they have a kind of a real estate space, some single rooms or something there, right? And in that room, they put all their services. So services basically, or you can say a hardware which contains something which is called rack. I'm not sure how many of you have seen racks in a data center where people can go and fit their servers, a storage, switches, and a router. May I know if anyone have actually seen the data center, how it built?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. So just let quick 1 minute video, which I am going to play now. Just watch that. In older days, when we have to build a data center, then how this data center is get built. This is a very quick video. Just watch it out. Now, whatever you are seeing all this is a rack. Okay. We call it generally as a server rack, a storage rack, or a network rack. So in a data center, we have to put all these racks first. Now, this green cable which you are seeing here is basically a cable which is used to cool the server. Okay, how the server cooling happen? There is a specialized kind of a instrument which was installed inside the data center, which generally flow a water. Okay, so that water used to just that water used to cool the server. So this is a green wire which we installed. Now the blue wire which you are seeing there, generally it is a Cat5 cable. It's a LAN cable, and through which all the server and services get connected. So after the blue wire, I'm again forwarding it. Now these all are the servers, the storage, network switches. This server is get checked. Is there any fault in the server after unpacking it? And now we are putting this server in a rack. This is called rack mounting. Now your data center is ready. Okay, this video is only to make you understand that in an older area, in an older age, when I have to work on anything to run my business, I need a server. And to have a server, to have a storage, to have a network, we need a small space and or can be a larger space. In data space, we are going to install a racks, and then within the racks, I go and install the server. So there are variety of servers which is available in the market. It can be an IBM server, it can be a Dell server, it can be a HP server. There are variety of a storage also available in the market. It can be an IBM storage, it can be an EMC storage. Likewise that there are various kind of a services or a switches which is available in the market. Okay. Now each one is get connected in a backend with the number of physical switches and routers. So these all are the devices. Then each rack is get connected with in a backend with the number of power source. So we have a power. So some power is coming through a generator, some power is coming through a backup, some power coming through a direct electricity. So there are multiple power source generally we installed inside that racks. But what the challenge we have in an older area? In a challenge rack, let's say this is my rack, this is my server. I have in this server 126 GB of RAM. In this server, let's say I have a 4 CPU. Okay. Now in this server, let's say I have a 500 GB hard disk. Cool. So for an example, in this specific server, I install an application which is going to maintain the payroll of my employee. So here I am installing a Linux operating system. And then on top of Linux operating system, I am going to install my application. Maybe on this server, I am installing a Windows operating system. Maybe on this server, I am going to install something other, maybe again a Linux, maybe a different flavor, right? So each server have a separate operating system. Each server have a separate application. So basically this combination is called one server, one application, one hardware, right? So if you really surprised when you go to any of the server and when you check its memory. So this is a one task which we are going to perform now. Everyone, can you right click your, or maybe in a search box, please just go and type task manager. Everyone, please go in your search box and type a task manager. When you click the task manager, if you are running a Windows OS, you see a performance. In this performance, it is really a surprise that I am only utilizing 27% of the CPU. Only 27 or 26% of the CPU. I have an i3 installed in my laptop, right? I have a 3.7 gigahertz processor, but how much I am utilizing? Let's look at that utilization. I have a so much huge memory installed, but what I am only using only 4 GB. I hope everyone will notice the similar thing almost.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So look at that, the wastage of the resource. And trust me, when you go to a market to buy a server, one server of this configuration, it is going to cost you approximately around 12 lakh to 28 lakhs, depending upon that which company, which processor you are going to cost. So sir, the challenge is you are installing one OS in one server only. So if you have to install any other application, you definitely require one more server, right? And I hope that everyone know that in a company, you cannot just go to your management and you can go and ask that, hey sir, I need one server, can you give it to me? You have a long process, you have a long approval process. You have to give the business justification, right? Then you have to wait for the budget to approve. Once the budget comes, then you have to call the 3 different vendors. You have to negotiate the price. Then you give the PO, right? Then the vendor will say that, okay, I will take 2 weeks, 3 weeks time. Correct? I hope you understand the challenge we have, right? So what is the challenge we are facing here? Correct, no? What is the challenge we are facing in a traditional data center? Scalability, right? We cannot scale the way I want, right? So this was the era when in the 1990, when I am a people, and when I say that I am a champion, I am a core infrastructure guy, I will go and maintain this whole process, right? Same way in an older area, development also happen in a different way, right? You need a environment where all the tools installed, and then when you have all the tool installed, then only you can go and deploy your services. Correct?
Yeah.
Right? So the era gets changed when a company called VMware, they come up with their own product and they really change the world. That product is called hypervisor. Okay? So what the hypervisor says now, the hypervisor says that this is my one server. In this server, I am going to create a multiple virtual machine. So now in this case, I am going to utilize the same server to have my multiple application. Correct? Now this all are called a VM. Now my VM will go and talk to my operating system kernel, and through which it will go and interact with my hardware. So from traditional data center, we have moved to a virtualized data center. Okay. Now I will take you to my virtualized data center, and I will give you an experience that in 10 years back, when the virtualization world come, how the things became easy for us, but still some difficulty remains the same. Okay. So I'm taking you to my lab. Here I have my complete virtualization software installed, and I am giving you a chance of any of 2 or 3 to look at that, how many server I am running on this single server. Okay. So let me give a control. Aditya. Not sure. Aditya. Someone join with the name Aditya, or maybe Fatima.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to give you a control. Can you click the mouse now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now you are my administrator. and I have a requirement to create one server to install some application. So I request you that, hey, can you create one server quickly to me, because we have to deploy one application for my department. Okay, now you are in a virtualized world, so you can immediately go and take an steps. So go there, type a file menu.
Where should I type?
In a file menu, just click file menu,
Okay.
click new virtual machine. Wow. Say next.
Custom, right?
Yeah. Just say next.
Yeah.
Just say next.
Yeah.
Oh, what we want to deploy? I want to deploy a Windows server. So select Windows. In a drop-down menu, select which version of Windows. So let's say I'm going to deploy a Windows Server 2016. Cool. Go ahead and say next. Just give it a name. For example, this server is for my CORSEC organization. So just type here. Just type CS. So CS stands for a CORSEC. Oh,
Yeah.
and then type minus.
Yeah.
Minus, it's underscore.
Yeah.
And then type here. Let's say, for example, it is for an HR department. So type here HR minus. Then type here, let's say it's a server 01. So type here SRV 01. So this is a naming convention generally we follow in the organization. Okay. Now, where this machine is going to create it, I have my sandbox mounted or not. Sand is nothing, it's a storage. Okay. So click on browse. Go to my D drive. It is mounted as a D drive in my server. Yeah, scroll down. D drive. Yeah. Cool. Click D drive. Very good. In a D drive, I have created a folder called virtual machine. Yeah. So expand that one. Now here you create your own folder. So let's say give your name and test type HR. Cool. Click OK. Okay, just say next, no worry. Next. Yeah, next. So I am going to give you one processor. I have 8 processor in my server. I am going to give you one processor. Okay. And then in a memory, I am going to give you a 4 GB memory. So just type here 4096. Click next. 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 Yeah, we are going to create a new virtual hard disk. Go ahead and say next. Type a size 20. So 20 GB is okay. And click a store virtual disk as a single file. Say next. Next. Finish. Click finish. Perfect, sir. You have created. Now you need to put a DVD so that we have to install an operating system. So click on CD and DVD here. You see on the screen CD, DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Click on use ISO image file. Very good. Click browse. So I have put my ISO there. So select the 4th one from top. Cool. Just click OK. Click OK. Now power on this virtual machine.
Okay.
You have a power on option on top. Yeah, very good. Wow. So machine is get powered on and your OS start loading here. Your OS installation has started. It's a Windows operating system. So definitely it is going to take some time, maybe 20-25 minutes, depending upon. So just say next. Let's see if you are able to do that. Yeah, click next. Click install now. Your name is Chetan, right?
Yeah, Kuzema.
Cosima. Okay. Now you select the second one from top.
Yeah.
Second one from top. Say next. Very good. Say I accept. Say next. Guys, you are getting an experience of 10 years back. Okay. Click custom. Click next. Yeah, installation has started. In the meantime, Cosima, I am your manager and I make you ring. Hey Cosima, how much time you are taking here? What will you reply?
It was quick actually, not more than 15 minutes.
Yeah, but I am running out of patience here.
Yeah.
You know that in US, you have to, if you engage an engineer, they
Yeah.
charge you hourly. And the application vendor is coming and sitting outside. Their billing has started. Right?
Yeah, but because we had to configure it, right?
I don't know. I am your manager. I'm not technical guy, right?
So in that time, I think we could not go more faster than that one.
I don't. How can you go faster, right? Whatever time it take, right?
Yeah.
Correct, na?
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'm making you 3 rings. Koima, what are you doing here? Sir, wait, it's taking time. How much time? Oh, in the meantime, new request come to you, this time from a finance department. The finance department wants to install a VAT software so that they will do a VAT taxation, right? Okay. So new request come, and this time the operating system, they need a Linux operating system. So I'm going to give a control to someone else. In the meantime, this server is going to install. Let's have, who wants to be a volunteer to work on here?
Yeah, let me go. I'm Venu. I logged in with my son's name Aditya. I didn't realize that I logged in with his name. Sorry. When you said Aditya, I was thinking, oh, you have different Aditya in the group.
Okay, no worry, Aditya. So I give you a control. Let's see if you can click your mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the file. Now you have to create a new server.
Okay.
This time a Linux operating system.
Okay. So do I need to go through new? Next.
New. Yeah, go ahead and say next. Next. Select Linux. Which Linux? So I'm going to select CentOS. No Ubuntu, no SUSE, no Red Hat. Go straight up, because alphabetically C is come ABC, right? Yeah. So you get a CentOS 64-bit. Cool. Just say next. Give it a name. Again, CS, the core set, because every server in my organization have a same name. Now this time it is for a finance. So just type here FIN hyphen SRV01. Right? Good. Just say next. One processor is enough for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So go say next. Now for a Linux, I think that 2 GB is quite okay. So give it 2096. Go next. 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 Just give here 8 GB because for a Linux 8 GB is quite okay. Only type 8 and click a store virtual disk as a single file. Next. Next. Finish. Cool. So now your new server is ready. You also have to mount the DVD now because you have to need a Linux ISO. So click CD DVD. Click use ISO file. Click browse. Cool. Now the Linux one is 5th one. CentOS. Cool. Click open. Fantastic. Click OK. Great one. Click power on this virtual machine. So now the Linux operating system installation start. And in the meantime, I as a manager, I'm going to call you 10 times, right?
Mhm.
But you can't help yourself, right? Even you are faster now. Remember when you are working on a physical server, how much trouble you have, because in a physical server, you have to first update the BIOS, right?
Yep.
Then you have to configure the hard disk. After that, you only start the installation, correct now? At least in a virtual server, all this problem gone, but it still is installation time. Whatever the time it take, right? You cannot go and jump that, right? I hope everyone understand the pain area, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So
Yeah.
remember when there was no cloud, just look at that how the people were work there. Now let's say you have to develop some application in a Python. So that application need to be tested on maybe on a specific server. But to have this development environment ready, it's going to take a time, right? So now when we move towards the cloud, you understand that cloud is just like a burger and a pizza. Just order and it's ready. Correct, no? Right? But when you are working on a virtualized environment or a physical environment, you have to cook everything from yourself, right? So your Linux installation has started and your Windows installation anyhow going on, it is still 62% right? So we have to wait now. Got that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when let this installation going on, in the meantime, let's back to us. So understand that from traditional data center, we have moved where? We have moved to virtualized data center. Correct? Now, next step which is going to be come here is say that even after the virtualized data center, the next step will be in this virtualized data center, I am going to make everything virtualized now. Just leave your control. In virtualized data center, I am making everything virtualized now. Look at the magic and the power of the virtualization now. This is my server one. Let's say this is a Aditya laptop. This is Srinivas laptop. This is Ram laptop. Okay. Each of your laptop have a 500 GB hard disk. What we called it? 500 GB hard disk. Okay. Now, if I have a virtualization in my data center, I am going to combine all this virtualization into one single unit. So I say that all this 500 GB will combine using a software, and it is made as a 1.5 TB. Is it possible? You are sitting in London, I am sitting in India, someone sitting in America, and I run a virtualization software, and it will combine all the hard disks into one single unit. So when someone else will see it, they see that 1.5 TB. Now, this is the power of virtualization, right? So what we call it? We call it as a virtual storage. Or how this virtual storage get created? This virtual storage get created using a software defined storage. So when you use your virtualized environment, you can use the software defined storage also, right? Now look at that, the problem here. When you have a physical server, you know that in a physical server you have a LAN card, right? LAN card or a Wi-Fi card, whatever you have, right? So this LAN card and a Wi-Fi card will go and connect you with your network. What will happen to the virtual machine? So to your surprise, every virtual machine also have a LAN card, but this is not a physical LAN card. Every virtual machine will have a virtual LAN card. Now this virtual LAN card is not going to connect with your physical switch. They are going to connect with your virtual switch. Wow. This is going to be a virtual switch, right? So when we have this virtual switch, I will go there and I can connect all my virtual machine, virtual LAN card to this virtual switch. So we call it as a software defined network. Just remember all this terminology. What we call it? Software defined network. We have a software defined storage. I request all of you, please go to a Google and type here software defined storage. You got that? This is a new buzzword which is now ruling the market. We do not have to go and buy a very expensive storage now. We can use the cheaper storage and we can combine using a software and make it as a huge storage now. So all your cloud is using in a background the software defined storage. That's why they say that it's unlimited. What is the meaning of unlimited? The maximum storage capacity available in a market by any vendor, be it IBM, HP, or EMC, the maximum capacity of storage available is 100 TB. But then how cloud provider will say that it's unlimited? So basically they are combining multiple 100 TB into a single unit, and it will look like that you have unlimited storage. I hope you understand the background of the cloud, right? Yeah, Srinivas, Ram?
Yeah.
Right, good, right? Same way, we have a software defined network. Now, this is again all are the buzzword, right? So it means that when I am using my cloud, it says that you can do your own networking. How it is possible? I may create 100 server, maximum switch which is coming in the market is having a maximum port that is a 98. How can I connect by 100 server? I can connect 1000 server because it's a virtual port now, virtual switch now, right? All this is possible using the software defined network.
So Bipin, sorry,
Yeah.
what is this virtual switch actually means?
Virtual switch means a switch which I created using the software. Okay. And then I go and connect my all virtual machine here.
And then what that switch will do actually?
It will connect your virtual machine with your physical LAN card. So this switch connected with a physical LAN card. Your physical LAN card connected with a physical switch.
Okay.
You got the relationship. So it's
yeah,
all this virtual switch connected with your LAN card. Basically, it
Yeah.
map your LAN card. Okay, right?
What will be the advantage here? Like, we have the 4 VMs, for example, here. Okay. And then we have how many virtual switch? 4 virtual switch.
No, but switch will be one. Each switch have a port. Now, when you have a Wi-Fi, it comes with
Yeah.
the 4 port, right? So you can connect with the 4 devices. So here you can create as many port as you want.
Okay.
There is no limitation, right? Because it's a virtual.
Okay. Yeah.
Correct, huh? And then on each port you can deploy a policy. For example, only this specific traffic can be accepted on this port.
Okay.
Got my point, right? That is the
Yeah,
reason why we have a physical switch, physical port, and then on that port we go and manage that. We run various kind of a command to restrict the port so that it can be only accessed. That is what the Cisco guys does, right? The people who done the CCNA and all, they know all these tricks, correct?
Yeah.
Right? But in a virtual world, you do not have to run anything, right? It's all are a wizard way. Just click next, and your 10 port switch is ready. Correct, huh? Right?
Yeah.
So when you have a virtualized data center, now just understand this terminology, okay? When you have a virtualized data center, means virtualized server plus software defined network plus software defined storage, you call it as a software defined data center. What do we call it? Software defined data center. In another word, we also refer it as a hyper converged network. Converged means sync. So what is the software defined data center? A data center which use everything as a virtualization. Their network is virtualized, their storage is virtualized, their server is virtualized. So every part of the data center is virtualized. Good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go back to Google and again type software defined data center, right? So you get everything now as a software defined. What is Azure? What is AWS? What is Google? What is Alibaba.com? All are software defined data center. Is clear now?
Yeah.
Correct. So it means that behind the AWS, Azure, Google, actually the data center which is created and running, they all are using the software defined word. Everything is a software defined there.
So you mean like there is not much of physical, it is always all like a virtual, it is
Correct.
some kind of software it is running.
Correct.
Okay.
That's why the cost is very less, right? If they start providing you a physical server, then the cost will be very high, correct? No?
Yeah.
Correct, no? Right? Right? So this is how the world is happening now. Good. So let's come back to our data center, see where, yeah. So the installation has been completed. I think this installation has been initiated by, so I'm going to control this time to Srinivas. The installation of my server has been completed. So, but still it is not ready because you still have to do some configuration. So I give you a control now.
Okay.
So once the Windows server installed, you have to first configuration is that to set your password. So click the mouse.
Yeah.
Just type the password @123. Same password @123. Guys, still it is not finished. It is just installation happened, right?
Yeah.
Click finish. Click inside the blue screen. Yeah. Yeah. So it's all done. Now let me log in. So how I log in? I will go to a VM and I'm going to send Control Alt Delete. Now it will let me just type your password @123, whatever the password you give, Srinivas.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, you get 2 calls now, right? Yeah, how much time you are taking, right? You said half an hour it will be ready. Now it's almost 1 hour and you are still saying that your server is not ready. Sir, installation just completed. Please wait. Correct, huh? Right?
Yeah.
So in a real life scenario, this is how it will happen. Your manager will keep calling you. Your boss will keep calling you. And you have to defend yourself, right? Wait, still server is not ready. Server is just installed. Just wait. Yeah, just click yes. Just wait again. Still it is not completed. Now you have to configure the server. So I hope today you understand that how the world has started. And then when you actually go to the cloud, you can then relate yourself that how the cloud is now make the life more easy for us. Okay. When I say 5 minutes, it's literally 5 minutes and your server is ready to deploy in production straight away. Correct? Just wait. It is still loading. Now click the local server. On a menu side, you have a local server. Yeah, exactly. Very good. So we have to make a lot of changes here, but we are making a quick one change. We are going to change the IP address from dynamic to a static. Let me do it for you. Just you can watch because it's just too small for you to measure it. So this is my IP address. So I'm going to double click it. I'm going to details. Let me check what the IP it is going 192, it's 192.168.71.128. Okay. So I'm going to change that and then I will take a remote control from outside. So it's 192, 168, 71, and I believe that the IP which is coming here is 128. 2 is a default gateway. So it's a 192, 168, 71, dead 2. Okay. So once it is done, now I have to just enable the remote connection and I can take the control from outside. So this is a remote desktop which is disabled by default. Oh yeah, so many configuration I have to do, right? Okay. Now my server is ready, Srinivas. So I can just go here, type the MSTSC, and I am going to put this address, which is a 128. I press enter. Now it will ask me the password. I believe it's a password at the rate 123, right?
Yeah, all lowercase.
Yeah, Srinivas. So now it looks bigger. Oh, can you type your password? I think. Oh, Srinivas. One mistake has happened.
What happened?
Oh yeah, the hard disk should be 30 GB, but by mistake we have given 20 GB. What should I do now? Don't worry, sir. You are in a virtual world, right?
Yeah.
So what I will do, I will come here, where?
Yeah.
On this server, right? Which one is my server? This one is my server. I will come to home. Yeah, exactly. So let's say if anything I have to change, I just right click that. I will go to a setting. Okay. In a setting, I have a hard disk. You got that, right?
Yeah.
So I can go and maybe add a new hard disk here. If I have to change the LAN card, I can change that. If I have to increase the CPU or a memory power, I can go and increase right away from here. Right? But look at that. If I ask you, hey Srinivas, can you add a new hard disk to your laptop? Trust me, you go crazy, correct?
Yeah.
First, you have to shut down the server. Then you have to open the server box. Then you have to put the hard disk, correct? No? But in a virtual board, it is just a click. I hope everyone is clear, right?
Yeah.
Right? In a virtual world, it's everything is a click. Nothing you have to do physically. I want to increase a RAM in your laptop. It's a tough task because you have to first open your laptop, then insert the RAM in the right slot in the motherboard, right? Then you have to test, then only you can power down, and then you can only feel that yes, RAM is increased. But here, just one click and my RAM get increased. True, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So anyhow, your server is ready now. There is a lot of configuration which we can do. For example, we can go to Windows Firewall and do it. But what we are going to do now, we are going to install one web server here, and let's test that whether my web server is running or not. So how we can go and install a web server? Now I'm going to give a control to Ram. Ram, you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. So I give you a control to you. So to install a web server on a Windows, you have a server manager dashboard. Here you get a feature called add role and feature. Can you click that?
Okay, I think
Click mouse.
still have not got the control.
You are using mouse or what?
Yeah, mouse, yeah.
Then you should click first. Not able to? Yeah?
No. No,
Click on the screen and then try to move.
Yeah, exactly. So hold on. Let me give a control again to you back. So I'm seeing one Ram Manohar, one is Ram Krishna.
yeah, Ramakrishna, give it to Ramakrishna.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that might be the reason.
Okay. Just click Ram. Yeah, click add role and a feature.
Yeah, now it works. Yeah.
Yeah, just make it maximize the screen. Yeah, good. So just say next. Next. Hold on. So what we want to install here, Active Directory, DNS, DHCP,
Sure.
Hyper-V, web server. You got my point, right? So I'm going to install here a web server. So just say cancel and click web server, which is in a last almost.
IIS.
Yeah, IIS. Little bit up. Yeah, very good. Click add feature. Just say next. Install. Right? So I prepared, install a server, then configure the server, then install the services, whatever is required, and it's all taking time. Correct, now?
Yeah.
Even we are in a virtual world. Certain thing is definitely easy, but certain thing is still a time-taking process, which you cannot avoid. So let's finish it. If any one of you have any questions or confusion, please revert immediately. We can.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll discuss because it's a bit of because few things like this IIS and all I have done earlier, but other things like creating the virtual machines and all, I believe most of us are like kind of new to the hardware related tasks and installation.
Correct.
But
True.
yeah, if you have like this is anyway the older world, how much this is useful for the kind of the cloud base. If we need to go through more videos to understand more of these switches and all these. No, we heard about these words, but not like
Not like
physically
Signal.
we have
Exactly.
been to the DCs and we have not used it.
Right.
We have not kind of experienced with these things.
Yeah.
There's other area like most of us are like initially just thinking whether to go into the cloud. We need to know more of the hardware related things and all. But yeah, how much this is useful based on that, let us know like whether we need to go through some other additional kind of heads up preparation or like some kind of more understanding on these things.
Yeah. So this is required. So moment you declare to market that you have experience, right? People expect that you must aware about this technology.
Yeah.
Because company are not 100% on the cloud, they are still using the on-premises infrastructure. Correct, no? Right? So they might ask you that, hey, okay, that's fantastic, but from the DevOps, can you manage my virtual infrastructure also? Now you will understand that, hey, what is this all? You never heard this word, correct? You got my point, no?
Yeah.
So for example, you have to deploy an app on a virtual server, but that virtual server not necessarily it is on cloud. It might be on premises also. True, no? Right? So when you say that you have experience, people generally assume that you have a bit understanding, knowledge, a little bit hands-on on this technology also. Nobody is going to ask you that you should be a master, but you should be aware at least, right? It should not go blank what this terminology they are talking about. Correct, no? Correct? Got that? Right? So once we have today we just try to understand that when before coming to a cloud, before coming to this world, how this whole infrastructure go and manage. Right? Now, to make this infrastructure automate. So for example, I want that I just click one thing and one virtual machine created. I just click one thing and my web server is got installed. I click one thing and my complete application will go and deploy it there. No cloud. It is still on premises. How we can do that? We will see in the next class.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right? So if you have to manage everything from a DevOps for on-premises, how this DevOps will go and integrate with your on-premises setting and the services. Yes, Ram?
Yeah.
Binu?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Right. So this is a kind of a bit understanding which I try to give you today. In the next class, we will see that if the same setup I given to you and ask you that, hey, can you manage it? Can you automate it? Remember, no cloud as of now, right? Correct, no? Because you always be ready that when you show an experience, they might test you that, okay, are your company is already on 100% cloud? Because none of the customers generally go on a cloud. Some server, they always prefer to keep in a on premises, because remember, cloud is a subscription based service where you have to pay the price. Correct, na? If you run 1 hour, you have to pay for a 1 hour. Correct? Right? Right. No? So some services which is very heavy, generally customer keep it with their own on premises only. For example, your email server, your SAP server, right? So generally you will find these kind of a server is still they are running on premises. Your Oracle server, because these are a very huge server. If they put it in a cloud, then the bill will come very huge. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are binding up now. If you have any questions, maybe you can keep it, or maybe you can evaluate. We are just started.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, maybe one thing, as I said, maybe it's maybe the open question from all of us also. So it's like to build the bit more knowledge on these things. So do you suggest any kind of videos or any kind of preparation from our
I will give you, sir. I will give you all the
Okay.
videos related
Okay.
to all this subject. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a huge collection of the videos, but willingly I'm not giving to you right now because I do not want to distract you currently. Correct. So go slowly. Then I will start
Yeah.
giving you, releasing your videos, which you can watch in your free time. Okay. So that be always in a touch.
Okay.
Got that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So you rest everything on me. Don't worry. I know how to move it further.
Yeah, but just maybe you might have already cleared, but we are all, most of us, maybe I don't know about Ram Manohar, but as of maybe all of us, like we are kind of new to the kind of hardware related and these things. So we are all mostly worked on the applications and applications area, not the much of the background servers and all. But
yeah. So next class is your application only. Okay. So we are going to touch base application management. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So that's why we wanted to build more bit of infrastructure related knowledge and.
You should, sir. So I recommend that maybe today is just on a starting. Okay.
Yeah.
So I am going to send this paintbrush file to you, all of you. Okay. So, what should be the name? Name should be the data center, right?
Data center, maybe the.
Correct, now. And let me send you this file on chat. Okay. So everyone, please, I suggest that create a folder in your local machine. Okay. And whatever I will give you in each of the classes, if you can put it in a somewhere in that folder, so it will be easy for you to locate and maybe refresh yourself.
Yeah.
Sure. No? So just give me. So I'm going to say data center. Yeah. I send on a data center file. In the next class, I will going to give you on PPT also, okay, where you can see that how the transition and tradition happen. So everyone received that file?
Yeah, we got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So all good, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Vipin.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vipin. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So see you on Saturday now.
Yeah, same time.
Same
Okay,
time.
yeah.
Saturday is at
Yeah.
Diwali here, but still I am available.
Thank you. Yeah.
Based on everyone's availability, but if the Saturday, if they want to start a bit later, fine. But if it is the same time, also fine.
Yeah.
Let's stick to this one, Srini. Let's go ahead with this one.
Because anyhow in a
Okay.
Corona time, Diwali is not such a festival now, right? You understood?
Yeah. Because for us, no, it is half 6 in the winter is like a bit early. If anyone wants to start late, we find maybe half an hour or hour
Yeah,
late,
exactly.
depends on.
Yeah.
So we'll communicate that. Yeah.
I will confirm the timing, Srini, after checking with all.
Yeah.
Sure. So anyhow, this video is
Thanks.
get recorded. So your today's session is recorded. We will make you upload somewhere and make this video upload.
Send it to me. What I'll do is I'll create a Google Drive and
Sure,
I'll
sure,
share the link.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
That will be.
And one more thing, Vipin, I think Venkat, you mentioned that we need to discuss on the few other topics. Do you want to discuss today or maybe sometime back? Some of the topics which I mentioned. So Vipin said like few things
So,
will be
Yeah.
covered.
Bipin, you remember
I
shared
suggest
some
I
7
suggest
points.
that do not go in a topics. Just keep I know that Venkat has told me about that topics. Okay, so keep it aside. Please focus on first the way we are teaching that, right? And we can start adding on wherever I will feel. I will definitely go and add on all this technology.
Okay. Yeah.
Correct, na?
Yeah,
But
because only a
do
few
not
things,
involve in the topics and all at this point of time.
No,
Just
not
focus
at
on
this point
the
of time.
yeah.
So
Sure.
what we are trying to say is, Vipin, mainly few things, here, what is required and what kind of
Yeah, definitely.
clients are expecting. So that's what we are trying to see to it that should be covered. But
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
if you are covering it another point of time, that would be fine. But end of the day, it should be kind of those areas and those related
Correct. So
tools or plugins needs to be covered. That's what the idea.
sure.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.